Hello. In today's short video, I wanted to discuss unconsciousness and habits. From the age 0 to 7, our brains are in what is called a theta brainwave state. This is a state in which it's basically almost similar to a hypnotic state where our minds are wide open. They're sponges, receiving information and stimuli from our families and from our early childhood experiences in preschool and kindergarten. The things we're exposed to get imprinted on our minds in this very quite fragile period of our lives. So a lot of our beliefs about ourselves, about the world around us, about money, about how we value ourselves is all formulated before the age of 7. And after the age of 7, if the things that we learned are repeated, they become condensed and layered on top of each other. So let's use the example of self-worth. If you are raised in a family where your parents are busy working, highly distracted, maybe there's a lot of other children in the family, maybe your parents are just completely overworked, they love you, but the adequate attention has not been there, you are bound to grow up thinking less of yourself and giving yourself less value and worth as a human being as you get older. For myself, I went to preschool at age 4. Again, these are really sensitive times for children to be away from their parents and being juggled with different caretakers, babysitters, and it's the way that our society is built up. You know, we live in such a way in which parents are not often able to have one stay at home and give the sole attention to the child. And so when I went to preschool, I was a target for bullies and harassment. And this was really difficult to handle at the precious age of 4, 5. People thought I was weird, and yes, I definitely am, but I was highly sensitive and quiet and not able to easily jump into games and playtime. I was very observational. I would watch, I would see, and I just became a target for bullies. And so my ideas about who I was as a person were shaped through these experiences. I felt completely defective, unlovable, and unworthy. And as I got older, this experience kept repeating itself because unknowingly I was attracting more experiences to be rejected and to be bullied. By the time that I finally made friends, I was about 10 years old, 10, 11. I found a group of other kind of interesting misfits, and we formed our own group, but I definitely already kind of thought pretty low about myself as a person. And this would definitely impact my future relationships with my partners. So when I got older and started to encounter a lot of habits that I was doing that were self-destructive and sabotaging a lot of my potential successes, I had to start to look at what I was doing to create it. First I took responsibility. I could no longer stay in victimhood mentality where I was saying, it's everybody else and I'm bullied and poor me. You know, I did that for a few years because it's normal. And I think our society promotes it because I read an article once, and also I heard this from Pockets of the Future YouTube, where they say the victim can never be wrong. The victim is never really challenged. They're always given pity. It's not a good place to be. Being a victim is not empowering, and it also leaves you that you can't take responsibility for your own behavior and actions. If you're always saying, I act this way because I was abused or I was bullied, that's not taking responsibility for the things that we create in our own lives and our own minds. So when I started to really want change in my life, I decided to really take a hard look and write down everything that was in my life that was going wrong, all the habits that I was doing, all the either overeating, overusing, overdrinking, just the self-deprecating thoughts that I had. I had to become aware of them and conscious of them. I had to suddenly become conscious of when I was doing a particular habit or behavior. What was I feeling in that moment? What did I need to soothe within me? And as I became more conscious and more aware, my consciousness and awareness helped to facilitate a lot of personal growing, a lot of maturity. And if we have a habit in our lives that is doing us harm, it's either unhealthy to our bodies or our minds or to our relationships, the first step is to own it, even if it's painful, and say, I am unconsciously harming myself. Own the habit or the behavior if it's something to do with substance use or overeating. These are basically the band-aids, the self-medications that we do in order to run away from our innermost feelings of unworth and perhaps distrust, or many of us didn't have very good role models growing up. And I think it's very important for us to see that we're not defective because we have a dependency or a habit that's hurting us. We're actually doing the best we can to soothe ourselves and to help ourselves, and our subconscious minds are our bodies. What I mean by that is the habits and behaviors we do get sponged up or sucked up by the body. And the body starts to have cravings for that continued habit, even if it's harmful to the body, because the subconscious mind learned early on that that behavior soothed stress or soothed depression or soothed fear. And so because the subconscious mind thinks that, oh, this behavior, let's say over drinking or overeating, this behavior soothes me when I feel out of control of my own life, when I feel sad, when I feel fear, depressed. So the subconscious doesn't judge that behavior as good or bad. You see, it just sees it as a quick solution. And so we have to become conscious and aware of what we're doing repetitively each and every day, and understand that in order to find complete transformational change, we need to get into our subconscious minds. We can do this through self-hypnosis. One thing that I have been doing and did much of when I was going through immense change a few years ago is I would record my own hypnosis memos. Okay, so I used a few from YouTube that were very helpful, and I would put them on before I would fall asleep. This is when our subconscious minds are open to that theta wave state right before sleep and right as we wake up. It's a great time to program the subconscious. And so I would put in my headphones in and play these really beautiful hypnosis videos. I loved one that is by this one woman named Christine Breese, and it's all about how we are these powerful, magical creators and what we can do to manifest our own reality. And then I started to create my own, where I would record my own voice saying things such as, I am perfect health. I choose only high vibrational foods and substances to place into my body. I am divinely cared for. And I made a couple of these voice memos to help me to retrain my subconscious mind, to change the sabotaging habits to habits that are definitely much more kind and more loving to myself. Yes, so I will speak more on this later because I think that retraining our subconscious minds, it's the only way that we can get out of these repetitive habits, and finding ways to retrain our thoughts, beliefs, and the subconscious habits that we have within is really self-empowerment. Okay, I hope you all have a great night. Bye.